because we have a stable sentiment right now at this very moment. At least there's not too many changes at this very moment. We see quite good market movements in the stock markets, which I like a lot because the direction is pretty straightforward, one-way street. We don't have these everyday changes, right? We have actually, in the last days at least, we have always like, or in most of the days, we had a higher close than an open, which makes the intraday trades then pretty smoothly running at one point of time if we are in the direction. And so I'm doing pretty well, I have to say. But now, slowly but surely, of course, as always, if we have so long days in a row when we are growing, of course, everybody expects that there has to come a dip at one point of time. That it has to go in retracement. Um, but until we are not going, we stay bullish. And yeah. So I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking.
Bullish on what? Which asset makes you bullish? Because some people may be bullish on dollar, some people may be bullish on gold, and some people may be bullish on euro and pound. And actually, I met all those people. So yeah, it's but not just one person with all of those sentiments, but few persons with each one having a little bit of one of those.
Yeah.
I wonder how our viewers are. Are you guys bullish on gold or bullish on dollar or bullish on euro? I mean, euro being bullish on, you can be bullish on euro and you could be bullish on gold at the same time, but you can't be bullish on dollar then, I believe so. Or maybe you meant other asset class. I mean, you can be bullish on Nasdaq, for example.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, at the moment, I think the sentiment that we have in the market, it's representing a kind of a risk-on sentiment mostly. We see the stock market, stock indices, American stock indices. You can name whatever indice you would like to name. You have a bullish situation in the S&P, in the Dow Jones, in the Nasdaq, the German index from a stock market perspective, very, very bullish at this very moment as well. Euro and British pound, they are like profiting from the dollar weakness that we are seeing at this very moment, and the same as the Japanese yen getting stronger at this very moment, but also probably related to the dollar weakness rather, because we had not a substantial change here at this very moment. But that's the thing actually. That's the bullishness I'm talking about. Commodity currencies are pretty, with a little bit exception of the Canadian dollar, commodity currencies are pretty strong right now. So a typical risk-on sentiment, and this is yeah, nicely to watch. Yeah, and this is why I also have a little bit of a stomach hurt on gold at the moment on the long side. I see I have mixed signals on gold, for example, but the rest is pretty pretty nicely defined at the moment, and it works out a whole week already, or already last week. And the question is now not anymore if bullish, how long still? How long still it's going like that? That's always then the question, of course.
Naturally, maybe till today's evening, like I mean, European evening, when we're gonna see Fed minutes, right? So
Yes.
market may be preparing for that a little bit. Maybe market waiting for Fed pivot. Interestingly, you have um, ECB probably closer to a pivot than the Fed, and worse situation in the Eurozone. However, market doesn't seem very concerned about that. And they are taking, even though the Fed is not really mentioning anything about pivoting, everybody's like assuming that okay, that must be coming, right? It feels a little bit like that euro is hanging surprisingly well, um, holding surprisingly well, despite the fact that we are close to probably rate decreases, right? Like from Friday's, like from from Friday's discussion with Marius, I think he was mentioning something like March could be the rate decrease for ECB, and June or maybe even September, first rate decrease by the Fed. And interestingly, the market seems to be pricing in both of those central banks lowering interest rates at the same time, which is uh, seems a little bit off, right? Seems a little bit awkward, but hey, this is how it is. Um, maybe this is going to change. Maybe market going to change this view at some point. Nevertheless, I'm looking at this week because it's not only that. Um, 1 second. It's not only that we are having, yeah, FOMC today, right? I'm having a calendar here. I just wanted to, for example, PMIs have medium impact, but right now I believe that European PMIs are really, really observed by the market, right? Like one of those news of the week. By the way, I totally encourage everyone to check our XM website research section, where XM analysts are publishing those pieces about. So you have outlook for the whole week, and then you have most important events, also individually described, right? What's going to happen, and those
Yeah.
are really good pieces. So I don't want to go into details. Like, guys, you can read it from people who really spend much more time on analyzing macro environment than I did. So I will not give you better info in terms of fundamental background than what you are having here in the research section. So
And
definitely, yes.
yeah, and Martin, and let's use as well the chance here to say hello to Nirvana Dedan, who is joining us on YouTube as well. So Nirvana and everybody else who is out there in YouTube world, if you have any questions, also please use here the comment functionality and drop it in. We get the questions passed through, and we are taking then care about that you get your answer as well. And we also have like Joseph Mafatle asking at the XM Global website about, or giving us a comment, a question on your answer, Martin, that he's bullish on gold and the Nasdaq 100.
That makes sense, and well, although Nasdaq is already quite high, isn't it? Like,
Oh wow!
it makes me scary to
Yeah,
buy anymore.
yeah. Actually, yes. This what I mentioned, what I meant before as well. You know, it's now the question: how long still, and is it maybe the Fed meeting minutes tonight, or is it maybe the Nvidia news that we are reported tonight, also after market closure, that could bring a turning point in the Nasdaq? Because I can imagine if Nvidia, everybody expects the hell out of this company. Actually, you know, I could not have, I cannot imagine the expectations higher for this company in delivering even another record. And this record, what is expected, that must be beaten. That is according to the market sense at this moment. So I think if the numbers are not exactly records, there could be really like a negative surprise on the stock. And I'm thinking about a spillover effects that this could have have in into the AI companies, into the tech, into the leading tech companies as well, and then maybe even sending the Nasdaq a little bit lower. Yes, absolutely bullish at the moment, maybe a little bit too bullish, nearly, I have to say. And we are at, from a sentiment perspective, a margin at extreme levels at this very moment, at really very, very as bullish as it was not long time anymore. And the last time when we have been so bullish, there came a nice drop actually. And I'm really curious about this evening, because not only the FOMC minutes, also about the Nvidia numbers that are reported today.
I'm looking at Fear and Greed Index. Not that I trade by this index, but quite interesting. Um, for some reason, it's not loading here in my browser. Okay, it's greed 63. A week ago was neutral 50. 1 month ago was extreme fear 2022. This is how it can change in 1 month. But it still has room to go. I mean, from greed, you are quite likely to go to extreme greed, and from extreme greed maybe back to neutral, right? But from greed, it's like RSI that's not overbought yet, right? It's bullish going up. It's above 50, but not overbought, not over 70, not over 80. So you can still you still have room to go up. I'm looking also at Nasdaq, 4.5, 4.6% from an all-time high. Like, can you imagine that they stop here and don't go higher, don't go to an all-time? I mean, it feels like now everybody is committed to see an all-time high, no? It's I mean, it's risky to assume that, but you know,
Hmm.
what I hate so much on the market is that, okay, I'm seeing this all-time high. I think, okay, it's gonna be tested, and it goes there. I'm not in a trade, and I'm just like, okay, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, I mean, it's far away from that I would short it, for example, at this moment, because I have not really a valid signal at all to short it. I just, also at the moment, I would at least need on a lower time frame something that gives me a chance to get out, to get into this market from a retracement perspective, and this is even pretty tough at this very moment to get this from the Nasdaq, because it has such a huge momentum. And even if I'm going down to the hourly chart, it is very hard, to find exactly this kind of retracement situations. What I would need, it's mainly like flat retracements and so on. But this is really an extreme bullish market at the moment, and
It's
I'm it's
it's
great to
the
monitor.
agony of short sellers what you are seeing here.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are not even giving them the breathe or a pullback, proper pullback, to get out of their unfortunate short trades. It's like it it almost feels sadistic if
Yeah,
I'm looking when I'm looking at it.
absolutely, and with every long signal that you are getting, you know exactly that you are already high, and but at the end it comes down. You have to follow just your process. If you get a chance, you have to grab it, and always I tell always myself, well, if it's too high, market will show me I have a stop loss in place, so I get just stopped out in the market. This is the worst what can happen to me. Risk is calculated, but if I'm not going in such a momentum, I miss the chance to grow as well, and that's always. But these trades are always feeling difficult. That you have always a bad feeling about it, because it's totally normal for humans to think about it was growing so long already, it must just drop a little bit. But very often, at least in the first stages of the momentum, you are, I would say, the hit rate in such a momentum is really relatively high if you go with the momentum and not against it. But of course, the longer it lasts, and then when the last one is as well, finally, you are like confirmed, okay, this is now really an up momentum, I go long, then it usually starts to turn. Yeah, so when everything is out already.
You know what I'm thinking is that throughout all this time since 2022, and all those minutes, Fed meetings, we had so many opportunities for the market to sell, and it and here we are, 4.5%, 4.6% from an all-time high. I don't think those minutes are changing it. To that market out of a sudden realizes it's shorts. It feels like, okay, there could be a pullback, like a sell the fact, but in a sense, why would it reverse now? So yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's really like that's really like that is really like the paradox on these markets, honestly speaking, because in this moment, what usually everybody, exactly how you say it, how everybody expects it, it must come a retracement. Usually the better option is always to add on positions a little bit still, right? So um, not only to look for the retracement, no, to really like